All right, I've received the new brushes from Sarah Burns. I love her channel. She has an art channel and a channel of her exploits in Scotland. I love them both, and I think she'll be getting me to Scotland someday. Wow, what a beautiful box. She designed this herself. Oh, how pretty. I have very bad brushes. These are my bad brushes. And these will be my first nice brushes. 7 of Sarah's most loved brush shapes and sizes, beautifully presented within a Sarah Burns Studio Original gift box. Oh, look at this beautiful color. So this is a 3/4 inch. This is a 1/2 inch flat brush. And number 12. Oh, look at that tip. Ooh, careful, you could stab yourself. 3/8 of an inch. Quarter inch. Number 6. I especially don't have any brushes with a really fine tip, so this should really help a lot. And number 1. Look how tiny and sharp. What a beautiful set, beautifully presented. So these old brushes are being demoted. Hi, this is Marcy from Sketchbook Scheming. Thanks for joining me. I swatched out some green and gray. Those colors will make up the bulk of my illustration, and I got a little practice with each of my new brushes. I'm painting an illustration of some sheep that we saw in Ireland. We had an awesome trip to Ireland when our boys were about 8 and 9 years old. Everything was an adventure. Everything was magical. It was just such a great, great vacation. These sheep were on the side of the road as we drove across the middle of the country from west to east. And I loved how they were just standing there outside my husband's window. He took the reference photo, which is absolutely beautiful. And the sheep just seemed to be saying, "Oh, I didn't see you there." I used my flat brushes to block in the grays and the greens that make up the background. And I loved the composition of the photo with the foreground road moving downward from left to right while the background road moves upward, and the sheep are just perfectly framed on those two roads. And the foliage was so lush in Ireland, greens, greens, greens. So that was really fun to capture the foliage, the grasses and plants and flowers in the background. The sheep were mainly black and white. I used a lot of gray at first to separate the sheep from the background, and then I did go in with quite a bit of brown on the foreground sheep. I think he just had some dirt on his wool from the rough and tumble life in Ireland. I loved the variety of brushes that I now have to get the very fine details of the grasses, as well as the kind of variety of natural shapes that I could get from the round brushes. I think I made the background sheep's face pretty wonky, but I ended up loving the look. He kind of had a "who said you could take my photo" expression on his face. And the sheep in the foreground I thought just looked very noble and dignified. I put in some shadows using a very dark gray. The sunshine was coming from the upper right, and the sheep in the background had quite a shadow from his head on his body as well. And really, in the photo, his face was so black that I couldn't see the details of his eyes and nose, and that probably contributed to the wonkiness quite a bit. I used a few different greens to try to capture the lushness in the foliage that is everywhere that you look in Ireland. The gorgeous horn on this sheep was a challenge to capture to get that shape looking graceful. And I'm not sure if the sheep in the background was a different kind of sheep, or he might have just been a juvenile of the same kind of sheep, but his horns didn't feature that developed curl that the first sheep had. This landscape also included some very vivid pinkish purplish wildflowers, so that was the main pop of color that I included, other than the greens and the grays and a little bit of brown. I know I told you that the sheep in the background seemed a little hostile, but it turned out he was the perfect gentleman and actually quite welcoming.
Top of the morning.